And we're off. Of course, my camera is being a problem child. Hey, all right, here we are. So, we're here. I'm G2 Verado. I'm a real estate agent here in Phoenix, Arizona. My wife is Lori Clindera. We've both been doing this for about 30 years. And today, I wanted to share with you some thoughts about what it takes to get qualified and get a loan through the process of getting you into a house. So I was at a seminar yesterday, and new laws have come into effect. New rules came into effect 3rd of October last year. And truth be told, these rules give buyers a lot of opportunity to investigate their lender, their loan. And what buyers didn't used to be able to have enough information to research that loan opportunity. And today, these new rules give the buyer a lot of power to be able to dissect and examine the loan proposal from the lender that he's going to get his loan from. So I thought that I'd spend a little time today just kind of walking you through the process. And of course, the main thing is that you want to make sure that you're partnered with a real estate agent that you know, like, and trust, and the same would be with the lender. Now, I got to tell you, over the years, we've referred borrowers to many lenders, and sometimes those borrowers want to check with other lenders to see if the loan that's being proposed to them by the lender we referred them to has all the terms and conditions in it that they want to have in it. It's not unusual for a buyer to want to shop for rate, interest rate, and terms. And you know, here's the thing. Buyers sometimes confuse a good deal with a low interest rate, and that's not necessarily the case all the time. Sometimes a good deal could be, can the lender get the job done? I'm dealing with a situation right now where the borrower met with a lender that we referred them to, and it turned out that the lender ran into some headwind in his underwriting department, and the underwriter was very uncomfortable. Hello, baseball. Was very uncomfortable with the documentation that the borrower was providing. And after about 2 or 3 weeks of going back and forth between the buyer and the underwriter, the buyer felt that he just wasn't getting the deal that he needed, which in his estimation was, can you get the job done? Well, so we referred the buyer to another lender who did not have these kinds of problems with his underwriting staff, and will actually be coming out of underwriting sometime next week with the buyer getting his loan approved. Now here's the deal. Today, well, let's step back a little bit. It wasn't long ago, before October 3rd of last year, that when a buyer met a lender, the lender would give the buyer something called a worksheet or a good faith estimate. It had a lot of numbers on it, figures for the buyer to look at, review, and conclude that proposal was going to be sufficient, be acceptable to the buyer to get his loan. Well, the buyer really, as he went shopping with this piece of paper, found out from lender to lender to lender, that each lender had their own unique way of disclosing and sharing the cost of doing the loan. Well, over the years, the federal government, after the collapse of the mortgage and real estate market, created the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and the CFPB. And CFPB then created a set of rules that now instruct lenders to give the buyer something called a loan estimate. And that's actually the same piece of paper, the same set of numbers, or same arrangement of numbers on the CFPB's loan estimate that every lender in the country uses. So now, when the buyer gets his loan estimate from the lender, he can take that loan estimate and go to several lenders and give it to them and ask them to compare what they can produce for a loan against the piece of paper that he got from the first lender. Now, when a buyer goes to contract, he's got 3 days to get, in Arizona, he's got 3 days to get his contract to the lender and have the lender issue the buyer, pardon me, nasal today, have the lender issue a buyer the loan estimate. It's got 3 days. The buyer has 3 days to get that documentation to the lender that he was set up with. Hello, Grovaya. Wow, Julia. So now the buyer has the loan estimate, and now the buyer can go from lender to lender to lender to check each lender to find out if he can get if they can match the deal that he was presented. Buyers are not obligated to stay with the lender that they originally met, even if I might have referred him or my wife might have referred him. It's a referral. It's a place for you to start. But now, under federal rules, the lender has to give you 10 days to shop the loan that was proposed to you. And within those 10 days, you make a decision. I want to use lender A, B, or C, or however many you checked out. So lenders have to be on a little more even, are now on a little more even playing field. Lenders have to put their, not necessarily their best numbers, because again, the best deal isn't the best numbers. It could be, but the best deal is, can the transaction be closed for the money that you want to spend? Can it be closed in the length of time that you want to get the transaction closed in? And are you going to be treated in a way that you feel comfortable? And that's part of that is humanity. You feeling comfortable with the lender that you're reaching out to. The Arizona contract has some caveats in it. It holds the buyer responsible for reaching out to a lender and asking the lender to provide a loan estimate. It's a new federal form. It's required. The lender now has to do that. Hi, Wild Wild West. The lender has to do that. And howdy. If the lender doesn't do that, he's violated the rules, and there's some big consequences there. But you know, lenders are providing the loan estimates. Here's where the problem comes in. What we're seeing really is lenders giving the buyer the loan estimate, but then pressing the buyer to make a commitment quickly to use the lender that produced the first loan estimate. That's not the way the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, designed this loan estimate. They didn't design this know before you know rule is what it's called. You can go to CFPB and or Google know before you owe. You'll find that the booklet that the CFPB put out. And the whole idea behind know before you owe, we in our industry call it TRID, was to give the buyer an opportunity to comfortably and slowly have all of the information at their disposal to shop the loan. That's what you have an opportunity to do. It makes no sense for you to jump in bed with a lender who's going to press you and lean on you to sign, make your commitment. That doesn't make any sense. The other day, I heard a lender say, well, the reason we're pressing the buyer to make that decision immediately is because the real estate agent wrote a 30-day contract, a contract that can close in 30 days. I got to tell you, just because a real estate agent or even a buyer wants the contract to close in 30 days, that doesn't negate the lender's obligation to follow the rules and to give the buyer up to 10 days to shop the proposed loan conditions that he was given. That's a very, very weak reason for pressing in on the buyer. Now, in the whole process that we have today, lenders are responsible for delivering to the buyer a list of documents, a whole host of them. The document set that the lender sends out can run anywhere from 30 to 70 pages or more. Now, that's the same set of documents that buyers for decades have seen for the first time when they got to the title company or the lawyer's office to sign their loan documents. So now the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, requires lenders to send those documents to the buyer in advance. The problem with that is that the buyers have never seen these documents before. They don't know what they mean. And within those documents are trigger documents that could lock the buyer into committing to the lender that originally engaged them. And if that happens, then the buyer has thrown away his or her right to shop that loan. Within some of these loan documents that are sent out by lenders, we've seen goofy waivers asking buyers to waive their right to receive a copy of the appraisal within 3 days of before 3 days of closing. Now, let me ask you a question. If you're a buyer, wouldn't you want a copy of the appraisal as soon as it was ready? Hi, guys. If you're a buyer, wouldn't you want a copy of the appraisal before you got farther down the road? Wouldn't you want to see if the figure that the appraiser defined as the value of the property is something that you thought would be the case? Wouldn't you want to know, are the properties that were used to compare value to the house you're buying reasonable to you? And if not, wouldn't you want an opportunity to at least discuss this with the lender? Now, if you waive your right to receive that document by signing off on a waiver, you give up that opportunity to do that investigation. Here's another question. If forms that are presented to you, my phone just tweeted, sorry about that. If forms that are presented to you in this disclosure package contain options within a form, and I'll just give you an example. Let's say that it's, do you want to buy a cat? And would you like a green cat, a blue cat, or a yellow cat? And if you've got, that's the question. Do you want a blue cat, a yellow cat, or a green cat? But if the lender has pre-selected red cat, and you really wanted a green cat, but the lender's pre-selected red cat, and your only option is to sign or not sign the loan documents, or excuse me, the disclosure documents, does that make sense? Why in the world would you agree to items that you didn't have an opportunity to check off yourself? It makes no sense. Now, arguably, if the lender has gone over these 30 to 70 pages with you before, and you and he or she have agreed to the various options, and you said, yes, I want a green cat, and he said, checked off the green cat, then cool, everything's fine. But if you've never seen the documents before and they come in into this electronic environment and the boxes are all filled in for you, does that make a lot of sense? I'm going to bet you probably think not. So those are just some of the things that I wanted to touch on today. I've really been struggling with this concept. I spoke to some very important people today about this, and they're pretty concerned. Hello, Julia. They're pretty concerned that the lenders are sending out these loan estimates, the document that the buyer is going to use as his tool to shop for a better loan value or loan opportunity, and that these loan documents, these loan estimates, are being sent to the buyer, to you. Hi, Chelsea. So that they're very concerned that the documents are arriving in your mailbox, coupled to a loan, an intent to proceed, a form called intent to proceed. So here's the deal. The way the rule works, the lender's supposed to send you a loan estimate, and then he's supposed to let you know that you've got 10 days to shop that loan estimate, all the terms and conditions within, with other buyers, and then within 10 days let the lender know if you're going to deal with him or somebody else, or maybe you found another lender who said, I will do something different, and then you have an opportunity to take that back to the lender that you really like, but the numbers aren't exactly where you want them. The lender you started with say, yeah, you know what, I can sharpen my pencil, I can do that. That's the whole idea behind this process. And once you go through that vetting process, you then sign or give an intent to proceed. That's the term. The buyer has to give the lender, their selected lender, their elected lender, an intent to proceed. And if you do that, then you're off and running. The lender can start ordering appraisals and spending your money, and off you go. But if you receive the loan estimate and the intent to proceed simultaneously, and you sign off on the loan estimate, you've committed yourself to that lender. And more problematically, in the Arizona contract says that you've now identified a lender, and the only way you can change lenders at that point is, that was my cat knocking something over. The only way you can change lenders at that point is to, in writing, ask the seller, hey, listen, I found a better deal over with lender B. Will you let me do that? And the reason you have to ask the seller, will you let me do that, is because if changing lenders is going to extend the length of the closing or cost the seller more money, he might say no. You see, you made your bed, sleep in it. So these are reasons why you really, really want to be careful about jumping in and signing off on a loan estimate, signing off with the intent to proceed. My wife and I refer clients to lenders all the time, but that does not mean that we're telling buyers, don't do your due diligence. Don't ask questions of other lenders. Absolutely contrary to that. We refer people to lenders that we work with because we trust them. We believe they're the best in the industry. We're not saying that they are the cheapest in the industry. Hell, people buy at Nordstrom's because of the service. So it's not necessarily about the money. it's about the whole package. But I got to tell you, time and time again, we've referred people, buyers, to lenders that we trust, and time again, the buyer still wants to get that second opinion, and they should, and they're entitled to it. But if they're signing off on a commitment to use a particular lender just because the loan estimate, this new federal form, showed up with the intent to proceed form, and they're giving away their rights to do that examination, that's kind of screwed up. So thanks for stopping in. I really wanted to get this out. I've really had some interesting conversations with people over the last 100 days since the know before you owe rule went into effect. And again, know before you owe is what the feds call this. And the TRID, T-R-I-D, is what industry professionals call it. And one last point. When you do receive your loan estimate, don't try to make heads or tails of it by yourself. Call your lender. Ask them to walk you through it. If you don't feel comfortable talking to your lender without your realtor on the phone, bring your realtor into it. Matter of fact, send the loan estimate to your realtor, and the three of you can get on the phone together. Discuss the numbers with the lender together. All too often, when buyers run into some confusion, their first line of defense is their real estate agent. They always reach out to us. Hey, what's this about? I'm all confused. And we circle back to the epicenter of the confusion, whether it's a title venue, a lending venue, an inspection venue, a termite guy. So, we know how to direct them and how to guide you. We're not here to do the lender's job, but we're certainly here to help you make sense of the documentation that you received. So when you get the loan estimate, send it over to the real estate agent that's representing you, and the two of you take a look at it. And as a matter of fact, when you get the other loan estimates, if you do decide to shop the loan, send those to your real estate agents. Now you got a collaborative team taking a look at your investment. Hey, you're going to be making probably an investment in one of the most important investments of your life. Why in the world wouldn't you do that? Why in the world would you try to run this gauntlet all by yourself? That's nuts. The real estate agent has done this hundreds and hundreds, unless like my wife and I, thousands of times. You've done it once or twice, maybe 10 times. But I got to tell you, if you've done it 10 times, you haven't done it 10 times like we're doing it now since October 3rd. It's a brand new game. Brand new. So, appreciate you checking in. If you have any questions, I'll hang you out here for a couple of minutes. Ask your husband. Ask your husband. How you doing? Ask your husband. That's a great handle. That's a great handle. I'm G2 Verado. I'm a real estate agent here in Phoenix, Arizona. My wife is Lori Clindera. We're with Caldwell Banker. We've been doing this for about 30 years, and I wanted to jump on today and just talk about the loan process, the loan piece of the real estate purchase contract. We're real estate agents, and obviously we write the contracts for our clients here in the West Coast. On the East Coast, they use lawyers, which is why it takes 100 years to close a transaction out there. Out here in the West Coast, we live in Arizona where we all carry guns, so things move along much faster. But if you have an idea that you might, or someone you know might be looking into buying or selling a home, and sellers want to be very aware of this as well, then you certainly want to be aware of the new know before you owe rules. And again, in our industry, we refer to it as TRID. The federal people, all of the people that actually handle the regulations, they don't call it TRID. They call it by its actual name, know before you owe. So if you have any questions, feel free to tweet me at G2Realtor on Twitter. You can reach my wife at Why Are You Renting on Twitter. And of course, you can always email me direct at g2realtor@gmail.com. Thanks for checking in. Hope you had a great day. We're going to have a great Super Bowl weekend. I'm going to go spend time with my daughter this weekend. This will also be up on Catch. That's katch.me/G2Realtor. So it'll be there for ever. It'll be on the Periscope site for 24 hours, and then it goes away. But again, thanks for checking in. Truly appreciate it. You guys have a great one. And I'll circle back again tomorrow. Chelsea and I are on a 30-day challenge to do a scope a day. And this one I really wanted to get out tonight. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.